What do I personally think of silver nipple shields? Now, if you've had silver nipple shields, let me know in the comments below what your experience was, whether you would actually buy them again, and what you use the silver nipple shields for. A silver nipple shield is like a little cap that sits over the nipple in between feeds with the aim and intention of aiding the healing process from sore, cracked nipples. Now, silver has antimicrobial properties, it also has antibacterial properties, and the thinking behind any silver is to help with the healing process. But anyone who's got soreness, pain, bleeding, cracked nipples, I need you to access that specialist lactation support that you need. So either through your midwife, your health visitor, a lactation consultant, breastfeeding peer supporter. Why are you thinking about using those nipple shields in the first place? That's the most important thing to unpick, so that positioning, the attachment, your baby's oral function, tongue function is all assessed and checked properly. From a research perspective, silver in wound dressings can aid with the healing and recovery process for people following surgery. There is minimal evidence, however, for silver in helping with sore, cracked, bleeding nipples or fissures that are on the nipple itself. The Cochrane database don't even include silver nipple shields within their 2014 study. However, this probably needs updating at this stage, and I look forward to the next version of this. There are 2 studies exploring pregnant and breastfeeding women and the use of silver nipple shields. And in this study, they involved 187 women, of which 38 would start to actually apply that during pregnancy, so using the nipple shields during pregnancy. And then what they did is had 149 women enrolled during the start of their postnatal period. All women had to have no pain, no bleeding, no cracked nipples. They took photos before and afterwards, and then they assessed for the pain scores of women. Just of note though, there was no control group. None of these women were having it as a treatment. They were looking to see if it could potentially prevent having those sore cracked nipples. Now in this, there was no control group. There wasn't a group that wasn't using silver nipple shields at all. So it's a really poor study in terms of design. All they say is that it is a safe treatment that people can use potentially, and it might help with nipple pain, and it might potentially prevent the actual damage from happening in the first place. But I think what really needs to be highlighted, what was the positioning, what was the attachment, what was the oral function of these babies like, and where was the control group in the first place to be able to compare this to. There was one other study in 2015 that looked at the silver caps for treating the cracked nipples. In this, what was really positive is that you had a control group who did not use silver caps, and then you had a group of women, 20 of them, who used the silver cap for women who had developed cracked nipples. All women in both groups received specialist lactation support, so that's really important to know. And what was interesting is there was no difference in the women using the silver caps on the healing, the discomfort, the pain and the recovery on day 2. So it was entirely the same between both groups. However, by day 7 and 15, the women who had been using the silver caps reported a quicker healing of their nipples compared to the control group, and they also found a higher appreciation for using the silver caps. They found it useful. There was also less pain in the silver cap group reported by day 7 and 15 as well. So overall, the research is incredibly minimal on the use of silver caps. Some women will find them useful, some women won't. They're quite an expensive option to help with the healing and recovery. Sometimes it's also worth thinking, is that money better spent on proper specialist lactation support rather than just the silver caps themselves? However, they are safe to use. If it's something you want to try, absolutely please use it. And also check out the Breastfeeding Network on moist wound healing for nipples. It's got all the research, all the evidence, all the things that can really help with promoting the healing of the nipples after birth if you have got sore cracked nipples. Prevention is always key, making sure that positioning and attachment is really spot on, getting your baby's oral function checked, getting that specialist lactation support. That is what I promote far more than just a silver nipple cap.